What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Left 4 Dead Garage, where we start messing with this big giant chunk of cast iron right here behind me. I'm gonna get this thing tore apart a little bit, check out the inside. Now I've already pulled the accessories off the front here. I mean, nothing real exciting about that. I sprayed it down with some cleaner, hosed it off a little bit. That's kind of why I want to pull the valve covers and spark plugs. I've already got the manifolds off. I just kind of like to pull a couple things off, make sure there's no water in it. Neighbors are probably wondering why I'm talking to myself. But I'm gonna set you up here. We're gonna do a little time lapse, tear it apart, and hopefully, please let this motor be clean on the inside. I hope it's not a junk, you know, bunch of sludge, no oil changes. Honestly, the whole time I had the truck, I think I drove it for about 2 years, or had it for about 2 years with the big block in it, and I probably didn't put 500 miles on it. So when I got it, the oil was already fresh. I never changed it. 2 years, 500 miles. I mean, it's still clean. Well, I just drained it, so it still looked good. But I've never done anything to it other than, no, I've never done anything to it. So we'll see what it looks like on the inside together. Just your standard slimy, dirty truck big block. I believe it does say 7.4 somewhere on it, right there. So never mess with one of these. I own 2 trucks with big blocks in them. Ironically, they came from the same man. Had a big block Suburban, and then we got the dually here from the same guy. I've known him many years. I'm gonna get you set up here and let's see what's in here. I really used the wrong engine stand for this. My good engine stand has a 6-liter LQ4 on it, and it's been on there for about 7 years, so might eventually use it. Been saving it for something. I seriously can't imagine this motor making very much power. And it had nearly none from the factory. I think 230 was what it was rated at. Something pitiful. I really want to pull the heads and do a valve job and maybe blend the bowls, but with how I do things, pulling the heads for a valve job will probably lead to some other dumb idea like that 496 kit I keep looking at. And I wasn't going to even do the cam and lifters. I was just going to fix the gaskets and put it in the car and do that later, but I really hate messing with fresh gaskets later and causing an oil pan leak or something like that. So I just went ahead and bought a cam kit, got a timing chain, gears, blah blah, the car oil pan, new oil pump, the correct pickup. Gotta check my flywheel. Afraid I bought the wrong flywheel. That small block, that 327 that was in the Impala, it may only fit a 10.5 inch flywheel, so, and this big block was 11, so I need to check that real quick so I can get that turned around if I need to. I should have did that. I should have thought about that beforehand. It is what it is. Wish I'd have bought fresh intake bolts while I was at it, but I guess I can clean these up. Let's see. Oil pan's loose. I mean, the intake's loose. Pull this tab off and get it out of the way. I'll pull these valve covers, and I hope the motor's clean. I need to get something to put the bolts in. I don't know if these valve cover hold downs and nuts will work with the valve covers I want to use. My original plan was to leave the big block in the dually and put a Phytech on it or something similar, but it really made more sense just to do the 6-liter swap. Not to mention not having overdrive in 2020 was pretty rough. I mean, I don't mind riding in the right lane. Matter of fact, I like to take my sweet time going about everywhere. But the world dangerously passed you by in this dually with 410s and a 3-speed. Alright, let's pop this valve cover loose. Please be clean. Wow. I ain't believing this. I mean, it looks near brand new under there. Pretty clean. I wonder if it's been rebuilt. Supposedly the dually was only a 3-owner truck. And it was originally bought, I don't want to knock a bunch of junk down this valley. It was originally bought to pull I got a bolt, missed the bolt. To pull a race car, I think it would have been an early Pro Stock car or something. And then the second guy that owned it also pulled a race car. And then the third guy that owned it bought it to pull his race car. So it looks really good in here. Really good. I think the only chunks That's pretty clean. I think the only chunks were the ones that I knocked in from pulling that manifold. Pull these spark plugs. Oh, I really don't want to use this engine stand. It's pretty sketchy. Pretty sketchy. I guess this is what they call the peanut port. I don't know. This thing's so clean, I swear it's been rebuilt. Maybe not. Dig out my balancer puller. That might be better. Yeah, that might be a problem. I believe it's moving. Keyway's kind of beat up, but it's all right. Go ahead and take this fuel pump off. Probably buy a new one. Yeah, actually, I've already bought a new one. I'm going to use a little cheapy electric inline, the little Edelbrock inline, the one we used on the 6-cylinder back there. So I've got to get it put up. That one's too good to forget about. I've grown to like that little motor. Somebody's definitely been in here. It's got a double roll timing chain. Definitely. So she's low miles, which is a good thing. I seriously want to pull the heads. I'd like to go and put gaskets in it, wire wheel the combustion chamber, but at the same time the head bolts are sealed, everything looks good. This motor looks amazing. It is in fantastic shape. Not that it matters, but I'm really curious to know if it's a 4-bolt. Guess I got ahead of myself a little bit. Should was wanting to clean all this up more. Guess what I'll do is I'll back the rockers off. I'll go ahead and snatch the camshaft out, flip it over, pull the pan, see what it tells us. before I go in tonight. They look pretty good. For no more than the stock set is, I'll probably just replace them. Why not? That's what I'm doing. Stuck on the stud. What's the deal here? Pivot ball or something in a bind. For whatever reason, pivot ball is stuck. It's hard to see, but there's some sort of galling going on with that rocker stud. For what I can see, the lifters look good. Not that I overuse them, but these cam bearings are tight. Weird. Cam was still healthy. kind of mess am I about to make? Hopefully flipping this thing over will go smooth. Crazy adapter on here from the factory oil cooler. Great. Got a mess. Was it a 4-bolt block or is it a 2-bolt? Not that I care either way. Just there's always that one guy that throws out their 350 4-bolt main. Well, moment of truth. Almost. I get on the bolts. I tend to forget them. There it goes. All right, you'll see it before I do. I still ain't looked. Two bolt. I think the rods are numbered. So maybe it has been going through. I mean, I feel like something's happened to it. The flex plate was even painted black, so somebody's had to go in it. Alright, it's been a couple days, but I did get the block cleaned up. It's ready for rear main seal, new oil pump. Got to weld the pickup to the oil pump. And actually, the one I took out was welded to the pump, so it's definitely been gone through. But get it all cleaned up, change the rear main, clean up this oil pan seal area. We'll get the pump and all installed, put the pan on, flip it over, start making some progress to getting this thing ready for some orange paint and button it up. But this is where we're at right now, and I'll get back to you with some of the progress. Alright, we got the rear bearing cap off where the rear main seal is, and if you've never done one of these, what you have to do, get like a flat punch or a round flat nose punch, and if you get right on top of this seal right there, you can take a hammer and hit down on it. I've already got this one loose, and you can spin it right out of that, and it'll spin right out. Then when you put it back in, you'll do the same thing, but you'll leave don't put the seal in flush. Kind of leave one side sticking up a little bit, and then add some silicone. That's how you do that. Well, I didn't get far. After we removed the rear main, went to install the new rear main, and right out of the box, where's it at? And right out of the box, seal is bad. So, figured it wouldn't be a problem. But no, it took me 4 part stores and about 45 minutes of driving to find someone that stocked a rear main for a big block. Why no one stocked this, but they had the starter for the 6-cylinder, and that starter was manual transmission only from 65 and back. Either way, got a rear main. Let's get this thing installed. Alright, I'm ready to slide the cam in, start getting this thing buttoned up. I know a guy that works at Comp Products. I'll leave his number and extension in the description of the video. I went through Comp to get this cam kit. It's an Elgin hydraulic flat tappet, a 527, 553 lift, and it's 224, 234 at 50. Never ran one of these cams, no idea what it sounds like. I mean, I'm not really expecting much of nothing out of this stock 454 because it's just low compression, nothing done to it, but it seems to be pretty solid, pretty fresh. But that's the cam we're going with. Got Elgin lifters. Also have got a Chloe's double roller timing chain, Howard springs and locks, some Howard's ZPM zinc additive, and then the Elgin cam lube. So lube this cam up, and we'll slide this in, start dropping lifters in, getting closer. My intake will not be here until Monday. It looks like it's somewhere in Texas. Supposed to have been here yesterday. My carburetor is actually coming from Alaska. Hopefully it's a decent eBay deal. So, all right, we got the timing chain on. Or the cam's in, the timing chain's on. Dot to dot like normal. It's just a basic Chloe's $23 double roller, nothing special. So, I'm gonna get the balancer bolt back out, stick the timing cover on, and I guess I'll go ahead and put the lifters in, push rods and all that, flip it over, put the pan on it. So, all right, we're back on the big block. Got a little bit done since the last video. Well, actually probably a lot done since the last video. I got it painted. I'm going to show you. I got one valve cover kind of finished, or finished enough to where I can deal with it, and I'll show you the other valve cover on what it looked like. My carburetor finally made it today. The shipping was not kind to it. It took some beatings, but I mean, I can make it work. I'll have to make it work. I mean, so my intake finally came yesterday. I think the shipping's been terrible. Tonight I'm going to jump on doing the valve springs. That way I can go ahead and button the valve train up, bolt the intake on. I still have to clean the balancer up, paint it. I was going to put aluminum water pump on it, but I've got this bell housing flywheel debacle BS going on. I don't really know what to do, or I can't decide what to do. I know what to do, I just don't know what route I want to go yet. That'll probably be a whole video on its own. But I'm going to get the valve train buttoned up. I still have to bolt the oil pan on, do the gasket, oil pan and all that. But I like to get the motor sealed up tonight and probably prime it. Actually, I probably will go ahead and prime it before I will prime it before I put the valve covers on. But I'll show you what we're working with, or where we're at right now. All right, did the old Craigslist rebuild here. fresh coat of Chevrolet orange. These valve covers, actually accidentally won on eBay about a year ago because I was going to obviously do something with the big block and leave it in the dually. I was going to FI tech it and all that, but ended up really being a waste of time. Would have been a waste of time and money, so that's how it has the 6 liter and the 4L80E in it now, which we'll get to that truck in a video eventually. Got a eBay deal on this 454O. It's because obviously oval port heads, but it's a Victor Jr. for oval port heads. Got it for like $230, which the Chinese intakes were that or more. But you can see the valve cover. It looks pretty decent. This is what I was working with here. Pretty oxidized. I did hit it in one spot right there. I'll show you the best way I figured out to clean up this aluminum, and I'll show you the brushes that I use. And it's just really, it's little mini detail brushes from Harbor Freight, and they really do a pretty good job. So, but I'm going to get the intake back off. It's just sitting on there to see what it looked like, and get the valve covers off. Run my air hose in here, put some air in these cylinders, and start popping these valve springs out. Get these switched out, and try to get this thing slammed back together. Alright, let's I'm gonna jump on getting these valve springs swapped out. Just basic Advanced Auto Special valve spring compressor on the stud. Took my compression gauge apart because I can't find my normal one. I got air in the cylinder. And take a dead blow and just go along. A lot of times if you pop them one good time, then it kind of will get the lock unstuck from the taper in the valve spring retainer. I'm going to change the retainers as well, but I'm going to get a couple of these knocked out and we'll keep going. This one's already got air on it, so this might be a little loud. This one's loose. Grab my magnet. I also have new umbrella seals to put on it, but like I was saying, this motor has not been together very long. I don't know the ins and outs on it. I'm pretty sure the guy I got it from had it for 6 or 7 years, and then I've had it for probably 2, but you can see they're still soft. So, but I'm going to go ahead and change them. I'm already in here. This single with some sort of, probably like that must be like a damper or something. And I got to get these retainers popped out. Well, they fall right out. And then it helps if when you put the locks in, which I guess I should have showed you the locks if you've never seen valve locks. Get the sauce off of it. But they're taper fit. They also have a groove that grips the valve stem. But what I like to do, you take grease and you put in there, and they'll actually stay, so you're not fiddle fumbling around with them so much. Here's the old locks. You can get a better picture of what they look like. Get a couple threads on there. I'm not compressing. It's not a real big valve spring. It's just a flat tappet hydraulic, so can't be very many pounds on the seat or whatever. It'll wipe the cam out. But if you put your finger on top of those valve locks as you compress the valve spring, and everybody will typically stay together. I say that. This valve spring compressor didn't work great at one end. It wants to lean the valve spring over. The only bad thing with handling them is now you've got this lock. There we go. The valve lock that's got assembly lube all over it, and it's easy to drop. But I don't have the oil pan bolted on, so if I did happen to drop it down through there, we can get it back easy. If it was in the truck or whatever, or a car, that could be a problem. But then after you put it in there, you can hit it with the hammer, get it kind of seated, and then we'll move on to this exhaust valve. Basically, same thing, all 16 valves, and we'll be one step closer to putting it together. So that's kind of how it works. I'd really rather not do that, but I don't really have a choice. Pop the retainer out. Leave the spring wherever you want to leave it. Let the old seal away. Take a little bit of oil. Put on that valve stem. Push it right down. The guide will stop it. All right. Alright, so that's how you do it. Just got 14 more to go and we'll move to the next step. Alright, got the rocker arms and the push rods all in, springs changed, new valve seals. Probably didn't even need to change them, but I had them. Got the intake. I've got the intake gaskets laid on here, silicone on the ends of the block. We'll let that tack up just for a second, and we'll drop the intake on. Still have to clean one valve cover, and should have everything to seal it up. Now I'm going to wait to do my valve adjustment. I still have to put the balancer on, and probably another thing or two, but watch my timing mark when I rotate it over, make sure everything's good to go. But this is where we're at for now, and ready. We'll do. All right, these are a couple of those little, they're like really super fine stainless brushes at Harbor Freight. They're great with aluminum. I mean, I've done all kinds of stuff with it, but I'll just do a little bit of it. And then, well, actually what I do is after I get all the oxidation off, I go back with like real fresh Scotch-Brite, some red Scotch-Brite, and then just kind of dull it back up. But try not to scratch the finish on the Impala. It's I hate to decrease the Barrett-Jackson value on this thing. I'll show you what this does. Of course, this one doesn't look like it's going to clean up like the other one. You've seen the other one, so you know what it looks like. Knocks the oxidation off pretty good. That side actually cleaned up a whole lot better than this side. But you get the idea. Well, I guess that'll do it for this episode. The big block's pretty much wrapped up. We put a car oil pan on, a regular M77 milling pump with the appropriate pickup. It's got an Elgin camshaft in it. I'll put the part number to the cam and the kit in the description. We used stock push rods, stock rockers. Basically just something for some sound. Bought a Edelbrock Victor Jr. oval port intake off eBay. Got eBay valve covers. Got an eBay mechanical secondary Holly 750. Double roller timing chain. Put the stock balancer back on. It's in a lot better shape than I thought it would be when I started pulling it apart. So this should be a real good, you know, little street car, cruiser, whatever you want to call the Impala. But I guess we'll probably do brake system on the Impala next. I'd really like to get that car where it would move under its own power as soon as possible. Got to get the bell housing, clutch, flywheel situation figured out. There's about 5 different ways to go about that, but I'll figure that out this week and order what I need or something. But thanks for watching. Thanks for all the subscribing, the likes, the shares. It means a lot, and it really does a lot. Check us out on Instagram. I also have a Facebook page, Left for Dead Garage, on there as well. And I guess we'll see you on the Impala video.